everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Tunacheki, and this is your weekly Africa podcast show where we talk about what happened in Africa during this week. Thank you for joining us, and as always, it's always nice seeing all the Tunacheki subscribers, all our followers. Nice to meet you, and I hope you're having a good Friday.
Same here.
Wonder, it's been a while since we've done the show. Last week, the previous week I was sick. The other week, I think you were busy. No, wait. I was busy, so it's all on me. Oops.
Yes, but you can't predict these things.
Yeah.
But people missed you, so I'm sure they're happy you're back.
And I was watching also the shows, and they were very informative. So thank you for covering for me while I was away.
No problem.
So for me, for today, I think on my side, I'll focus on just two stories that were extremely shocking and sad that happened this week. First, the Moroccan refugee massacre, and also the mysterious South African teen deaths that happened in the nightclub. How about on your side?
Yeah, I mainly want us to focus on that, but just to add to that, we haven't. Can you hear me? I feel like there's a.
Yeah.
Okay. The AU story, I think I want us to talk about it. The president of Ukraine addressing AU, right? I want us to cover that. And also Sudan's protest and how the transitional military government is handling it. I would also want us to cover. Last week, when you were not here, I talked about Ethiopia, what is going on there. So I don't think it's, but we can talk about it if you want to. But we've covered that.
I'll add on the Sudan Ethiopia border conflict that people are saying is being it's just a Western controlled effort to interfere with Ethiopia again. Yeah, so
we can talk about that as well. So I guess 5 topics in total.
Yeah, okay. So for me, let me start with the most mysterious, bizarre story coming out of South Africa that even police are still baffled till now. So for most of you who didn't know, in South Africa this week, 23 teens, when I mean teens, I mean from 13 to 18, died in a nightclub. I know you're wondering what are teens doing in a nightclub, but it was more like I think before you go to high school or university, kind of like a thing, like us we used to call it in Kenya, leavers party. When you finish high school, going to university, you go out and party and everything. So it was an event like that. So mysteriously, so when I say mysteriously, is that there's no cause of the death, right? The students were not trampled, they're saying it's in a stampede. The students have not yet, they've not detected the students have been poisoned. And also the students, there's no physical injuries on the students, but just 23 students, people woke up all dead. No explanations. The parents are asking questions. Police are asking questions. Bystanders asking questions. So that one was quite shocking and perplexing. What might have happened? What do you think? Do you have any theories, or have you read about what have caused the death?
No, from what I've gathered, they're still investigating. What they know for sure is, as you said, there's no physical, harm. They couldn't detect any kind of sign that shows, from externally, at least they have said that it has nothing to do with external injuries. So obviously it's sad because it's from age 13. That's a child, as a parent. And I also read they were celebrating finishing final exam or something like that. Yeah. So imagine as a kid, this is one of those stories where I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. And I saw some of the parents crying and losing it, basically. rightfully so, you send your kid to celebrate him finishing his exams, and the next day he's dead, and you don't even know how or why. It's just very sad. Mm?
Like, and I'm sure it was more sad because you know these things. Like we did it. You Skype, you escape. Like your parents say things, you're in your bed, you wake up, you jump the window, you go to the party. So you can imagine the shock on their parents where you thought your child was sleeping, then they're dead at some club. So yeah, so that's even double more like shocking to the parents because no explanation, nobody's telling you anything, not because they don't want to, because they don't even know what happened. So yeah,
It
we'll
sucks, but like, if obviously we don't know what it is, but nowadays at least what we're hearing is there, like, I might even get it wrong, like the term, but like lacing, what is that, like laced with fentanyl? Like, you might be thinking you're taking just a harmless marijuana or weed or something, and the seller has put something in it to just make it like make you higher or something like that. And sometimes they get it wrong, sometimes they concoct it. And as a kid, I can only imagine, like, as teenagers, if somebody brings one thing, everybody will share it. It's not like everybody can afford their own stuff. If that's, I'm not saying they took drugs, I don't know, we don't know for sure, obviously that might not be the case, but I'm just saying people also need to be aware that when you're buying something in your head, like thinking it's harmless, it might be something else as well. And some people just try to get money and might even put poison just to tell you this is for you to buy from them, and you're thinking you're buying something, but they're selling you something that they got from the bathroom or something, and that might end up killing you. So I'm just saying, I've heard about the stories as well.
like my theory is, I think maybe something like a gas leak, carbon monoxide poisoning, or
Oh,
because for the drug thing, the teenage, like being in a teenage crew, like in a group, not everybody is the same, and I'm sure even if 20 took, they'd be like the three scared ones, like not for me. I'm just here watching.
yeah, yeah.
It's extremely hard for everybody to have taken the
I
drug.
get it. But
Yeah.
what if somebody put
Mm.
something in something they were sharing? You get what I
Uh,
mean? Not on purpose.
mm,
People do some crazy stuff, or
mm,
um if they're drinking one bottle, let's say, and somebody spikes that, everybody's
yeah.
gonna be affected by it,
Mm. So
you know?
we'll wait for
Of
the
course, yeah, we don't know at
talks.
all.
So,
Yeah.
like I think they'll do a talks report this week, then like autopsies and see what actually
Yeah.
killed them. And now then South Africans need to discuss on, first of all, why are teenage kids in a club drinking alcohol, right? It's things like that are not, kosher. And like why teenagers kind of like put in a position that it's extremely risky. What happened, even if, like, when I heard the story, at first I thought it was adults, right?
Mm.
I thought it was adults, like that, like it happened to a club. But when I heard
Mm.
it was kids, school kids, yeah, it was extremely sad.
Very, very sad.
So now, on your side,
Okay.
and also for the
Mm.
comments, like I think if you can't comment, like just let us know if you can comment, because I think YouTube might have not made this video to be comments because I think of the thumbnail or the topics.
Oh, I can't even see me. I thought it
Yeah,
was just me. I can't be
no,
able,
no, no,
like, I'm
no, no.
not seeing any comments, so I was
Because I think
not sure.
we have over 100 people on
Oh,
the live stream, and I'm wondering if
okay.
nobody's been saying hi. I think YouTube that has disabled comments
But
and
I
chat.
hope they can hear us, though we've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
talking
yeah,
for
yeah,
12
yeah.
minutes. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? No,
Uh,
nobody heard anything.
Let me see. Let's see
Okay.
if
Yeah.
let me see if the chat is okay. But just try commenting. If you can't, you can write it in the actual comments of the video, not in the chat. Let's see.
Wow, I
Yes.
didn't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Because
was
like
wondering.
people like a
Yeah.
topic like this, people are extremely quiet for a topic like this. Let's see. Uh, let's see if people are in the chat. But today live has been no, people are chatting.
Really? It's just us
Yeah,
that can't see it.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I think,
Maybe I'll find it on my other phone
yeah.
and
Like I think
see.
there's a problem. There's a problem with StreamYard.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a problem
Let
with
me see.
StreamYard. Yeah.
Let me see.
So we can see your comments, but they're not popping up in StreamYard. So
Yeah.
let's see if it's just me who's.
Well, let me put my phone on silent because
Um, yeah, I don't know what what might be the problem, but anyway,
okay.
let's
But
let's
we can maybe you can
yeah
check with your other device or
yeah, I'm on the other, like I can
yeah.
hear your, I can still read your questions, I can see your chat.
Yeah. Now I can see
You,
them.
yeah,
They said we
yeah.
can hear you. I can
Uh,
see.
okay.
Oh,
Okay, cool. So, like, we just check your chats and comments on the YouTube app. Okay, so, Wangel, we can continue.
okay. So what do we talk about? Okay, the African Union. We can talk
Yeah,
about, yes, we can talk about the African Union and how the Ukraine in general, they've been trying to get a hold of African Union and also African countries individually. They've been trying to get an audience. They've been trying to have a meeting. It's been going on for a while now. If you remember, we talked about Kenya saying no. They're like, why are you addressing our parliament? We've already discussed it in the UN Security Council, blah blah blah. Right? South Africa, there was a huge like diplomatic issue because the Ukrainian ambassador to South Africa started tweeting about South Africa, the government, how they've been treating them, blah blah blah, and then what did and then the South African government called her out and said, you're trying to bully us into being on your side. We're neutral. We don't want to be involved in Ukraine and Russia war. So that was the case, right? So now eventually Ukraine got a hold of African Union and they set up a meeting to discuss about what's going on. So out of the 55 African heads of states that were invited, only 4 showed up. And obviously that's a strong statement to make as an African country. Like it's like either you're saying I'm neutral, don't get me into this mess, or you're saying nah, I don't want to attend, like I'm not on your side. So we all know the West is not going to take this lightly because they highly back Ukraine. Not just that, even after this meeting, the foreign minister for Ukraine is supposed to address Africans to tell us how much this is impacting us and how we should be against it. And so yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, he wanted to have an audience of all the African countries and only 4 showed up. So what are your thoughts on that?
yeah. So for me, like as I said, everybody is dealing with their own issues, and Ukraine's issue is Ukraine's issue. Nobody ever cares about African issues. So why
Yeah.
should Africa all of a sudden care about this president's issue? Like when it comes to these things, it's all about the benefits to your country, right? Like maybe Kenya like trades with like maybe 50 billion a year with Russia. Ukraine, they've never even traded. Why would you listen to somebody who doesn't help you financially, diplomatically, right? And I think there's a Mandela quote, like when he was released from prison and somebody was asking him about Cuba and
Mm-hmm.
Palestine and Russia. Why do you defend these guys, right? Fidel Castro. Like then he said the problem the mistake the West always makes is that they always think their enemies should be our
Should
enemies.
be our enemies. Yeah.
So we have like Africa has no problem with Russia. Russia has never invaded Africa. Russia is not declaring war on Africa. So yeah, it's Russia is Ukraine's enemy, and Ukraine is Russia's enemy. They should they should deal with that. Like it's like it's their own.
Resolve it amongst yourself.
Africa is not helping Russia fight Ukraine. Africa is not helping Ukraine fight Russia. So yeah, let them take care of their own business, and I will gladly watch on our TV the results.
Yeah, but what's interesting about this story is the fact that African countries didn't show up. Like most of them, 93% of the heads of states didn't show up. What does that mean, though? You know, we have to also think about the history of Africa and how most of the time, if the West says jump, our leaders will jump. Right? They just ask how high. So the fact that 93% didn't show up tells us that we're on the right direction. Like that's giving me a little bit of a hope.
The trend is changing. You know, like as I said, these days it's China who are calling out the shots. Like I'm sure if it was Xi Jinping hosting this thing, every African president will have attended, right?
Probably
because Xi Jinping has the money, right? So like at the end of the day, money still talks, right? Because like I think most African presidents, these were the decisions, right? Okay, I'm going to this meeting. What will it benefit my country? This guy will probably want me to even help him, right? So but if it's like a Xi Jinping or like the president of Brazil or the president of Canada or what hosts these events, right? Number one, Kagame is like Boris Johnson was in Rwanda for the Commonwealth thing. Everybody in the Commonwealth attended. Nobody went like, no. You see, because they know they're talking about even other African countries like Togo and I think is it Burkina Faso. They want to also join the Commonwealth. They're like, hey, we also want to join the party. You know, so for me, I still think it's just the incentives that determines these things. Because at the end of the day, these guys are politicians, and the first thing and the last thing they do before they wake up and sleep is what can I get from this? So I'm sure no charity, nothing for free. So for me, that's my take on people.
And also I believe they also don't want to get on the bad side of Putin. I feel like they're being really careful with Russia at this point in time.
Definitely. Like what can I benefit? Here, he's my friend. We've been trading for decades. They've always supported us. Even like a country like Mozambique, like Angola, like Russia actually provided arms. Like Russia actually helped them gain independence, right? So why should an Angolan president or Mozambique president be there? Like Ukraine has never done anything for this country. Then some things don't make sense, and it's the audacity of a European leader that think they can just just because they need something, every African comes like.
Because you see, they're used to it though. They're used to it. So now it's a shocker. And now it's like a wake up call for them because they're not used to it. That is why they have the audacity to even demand that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So like it got to show when Biden calls the African leaders, I think there's this African summit Biden called. So if you want to know the true African revolutionaries, right? Because somebody like Magufuli never went to those things, right? Yeah, but the likes of Kagame are number one. The likes of Museveni are number one. The usual suspects, right? So when I think that thing usually happens around the UN General Assembly, around September. Right. So now we'll actually see who has the guts to stand up to the West, right? So this one is easy. It was as simple as not clicking to the Zoom link, right? But the other one is more, you have to show up or miss the party. So that one we'll see. Oh, and in the previous years, the excuse for COVID, we can't come of COVID. So now there's no excuse. We'll actually see who are the puppets and who are the African presidents who stand on their own. Because I'm sure this time they'll talk about Ukraine and they'll want Africans to publicly say something, or African leaders yeah. So like we'll actually see what happens in September.
Yeah, we shall.
So before we so before we continue to the last, like I think the most important story, we
Mm.
should go to the Sudan protests first, and we should go
Yeah,
to the Sudan Ethiopia
yeah.
conflict. That's not even a conflict. That's just like a Buddha
A made
skirmish
up conflict. Yeah,
that people
yeah,
are trying to, like the West, the
yeah,
writers are trying to pick up into
yeah.
World War V, right? So yeah.
Mm.
So
So Sudanese have been, the Sudanese people have been fighting, protesting, demanding for a civilian rule for a while now. Like, I think they're one of, seriously, like earlier I was thinking about it because I was doing the same report. And I was like, these people are resilient because
yeah,
they've been and they get killed, by the way. It's not
yeah.
a protest where nothing happens.
Like it's first
They
one
like they
hundred.
get killed in hundreds, but they
Yeah.
still go out. They camp outside of the offices of the government officials. They are like, I respect them because it can be easy, like you're saying it's okay, I lose my life for my cause. So I respect the Sudanese people, and I really hope that they get what they are looking for, and what they are looking for is just fair and simple. They just want a civilian government, and they want to have an election that they vote for someone and put in power, and that's it. Like, it sounds simple, right? But the transitional military government is still in power, and it doesn't look like they're moving, right?
And
They're supposed to be.
like, can I tell you the irony? Like
Yeah,
the current like military rulers, they're the darling of the United States. Like it's funny. So Ethiopia has a democratically elected government, right? Like from the
yeah,
people. This
yeah,
one, like in Sudan, it's a coup. But in the
yeah,
international standards, it's like Ethiopians are the bad guys
yeah,
and then Sudanese are the good
yeah,
guys. And in Sudan,
yeah,
who are like it's not a democratic elected government. The people are struggling, they're protesting. But to show you the hypocrisy of the West,
yeah.
and how democracy is just a tool to
Mm-hmm.
control Africans, right? Like this country, Ethiopia, is playing by the rules, but because they're not playing by the rules of the West, right? The people in power in Ethiopia are not bending to the will of the West, right? Like whatever is happening, they've tried to make to depose the elected government. They've caused internal conflict, lots of death, arming the
Rebel
rebels,
group.
terrorists,
Mm-hmm.
right? Enabling like massacres, like the one that happened to the group of Amaras recently, right? Like all these things, like I'm sure there's like a CIA person who like has a checklist of things to destabilize a country, right? But in Sudan, right? Like in
Not
Sudan,
funny.
like they're
Mm.
doing everything wrong. Like I imagine, like I think the Sudanese government is doing exactly what someone like Saddam Hussein did, the president of Syria did, but because
Over.
but because they're the puppets of Egypt, and
Yeah,
so Egypt being the
yeah,
puppets of the United
yeah,
States,
yeah,
like they can get away with anything. Nobody cares about those protesters. Like I
yeah.
said, more than 100 have been killed. Right? Can you imagine
Yep.
if it was in Ethiopia, they would have sent in the Marines to stop the massacres
Yeah, they would
and
have
stuff. So,
destroyed us. Like, it's a wrap. It
yeah.
would have been a wrap. But yeah, you are so right, and I'm so happy that you quote that double standards, because most people outside of Ethiopia, or like outside of Ethiopians, don't get this. You know that, right? Like, that's why I respect you, or like a Swahili nation, the Swahili nation, like all, because it was so shocking to me to find YouTubers or content creators that are talking or telling the truth. Because I'm not saying other people are not trying to tell the truth. They just don't know better, because their sources are those mainstream media, same as mine. Sometimes when I don't get any source, because there's like, you don't have the funding that they have, right? You might need to refer to a mainstream media.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
like, it's not new, right? So I'm not mad at them. I don't think they're being malicious, other channels, other reporters. but it's so easy for you to be manipulated. So the fact that you can tell, you tunacheki Michael can tell that like this is BS, it just makes me so happy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's quite like it just shows like democracy is like democracy of who, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's
as
just a
long as
tool.
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
as long as you don't cause problems for the United States and you don't
yeah.
cause problems for Europe, because even like this week, the EU Parliament they
Mm,
did this report, the African report on how to
mhm,
solve all the problems of Africa, right? So I know, like it was such a silly report. Then there is like I'm sure you've seen them. There are these two MPs. They're independents,
mhm,
right? One has
mhm,
the guy has crazy hair, like his
mhm.
crazy white hair, right? Uh, like uh, like he's Irish. He's Irish. He's got
Okay,
crazy white hair. He's an
I
Irish guy.
haven't
The
seen.
other one is
Yeah.
this lady with black hair.
Mhm,
They always cause problems for that EU Parliament. They always say it's called the cringe things, right? So the MP was like, ah, yeah, the report is well and good. Europe has been exploiting Africa for all these centuries. Europe lives off Africa, and unless there's a drastic revolution right now, nothing will change. And that's just the truth, right? Like I
yeah, but the
will.
fact that he can say that.
Yeah, because she's just telling them the truth, and like it's obvious. Like this doesn't even nobody even hides it, right? That's their goal. They're just living off Africa, and if you don't behave, your country will get problems, right?
Yeah.
All right. Like if you
Yeah.
try to do things on your own, or you try to get other partners, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe China,
Mhm.
Russia,
Mm.
like Argentina, just countries like if you try to make deals that will not benefit the West, right? Like you get in
Yeah.
trouble. There's a
Yeah.
coup. There's like riots and stuff.
Civil war.
Yeah, and like in civil laws. Yeah. So
Mm.
so and like I'll transition to the other Sudanese story where
Yeah.
there was a skirmish at the war. Maybe you can explain to people what happened.
Yeah. So, but just to close the other one, um, there's a connection actually. There's a connection between what I'm going to talk about, the next topic, and the previous one. So the transitional military government basically shut internet down. By the way, did you know that they shut the internet down? Yeah, so that people can't communicate, because that's how the protesters were communicating, so that the word won't go out, right? And so the irony in that is the government is trying to start trouble with Ethiopia,
Mhm.
right? Like they summoned ambassador and they're saying like Ethiopia, like it's getting serious, because if it is true, it's a big deal. Like this is two sovereign countries we're talking about. So and when I say if it's true, if it's actually the Ethiopian government, not the rebel group, not anybody that was paid to create some mess, but the actual government being involved in that, right? So they couldn't, now there's a dispute in the border. Sudan and Ethiopia are neighboring countries. So when the Sudanese government is trying to blame Ethiopia and trying to create this chaos in the country, Sudanese people are protesting their own government,
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
them, we don't want you in power, like leave power right now, we want
And
a civilian rule.
and I don't think it's even a government because a government means it's elected. It's
It's a, yeah, a coup. After the coup,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
transitional military. I mean, junta. Okay, a military transitional
yeah.
junta.
So
Yeah.
and just to be clear, this is what happened, right? Some Sudanese soldiers crossed into Ethiopian territory. They got their ass kicked by not even the like even to make it even more like embarrassing. They were not even killed by the like elite Ethiopian military. They were killed
No.
by just militias
Yeah.
over there, farmers, like even
Yeah.
hardcore farmers, right?
Yeah.
Seven of
Yeah.
them were killed by farmers. and they got pushed back, right? So
Yeah.
Ethiopia is saying, you guys entered our territory. That's
Yeah.
against international law, right?
Yeah.
Sudan is like, ooh, like trying to cause
Yeah,
problems.
they're trying to
Going to
say like
the,
you killed our forces, and and that's also a big deal if it's seen as Ethiopian government went ahead and killed.
but no,
um
no but under international law, Ethiopia had every right to kill
but
Sudanese
can
soldiers.
we prove that
No,
they're
no,
the
no.
ones that entered?
Yeah, yeah. Because the bodies were on the side of Ethiopia, like the dead,
Okay,
the
okay,
dead
that's
soldiers.
good.
So under international law, if other force from another country enters your country without permission, you have the right to
Yeah.
defend your borders,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So technically, even if they go to the international court, say this
Yeah.
happened, they're like, no, you crossed the border without authority, and
Yeah.
something like this happened in between, like I think India and China, like I think last year.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. And then?
they always have a tense border, right? And even
Yeah.
that was more crazy because like I think at the border between India and China, they're not allowed weapons. So
Okay.
like I think 20 soldiers died from India, and it was all hand-to-hand combat, right? And
Hand
China,
combat.
yeah. So yeah, like you can imagine how crazy it was. So China was not at fault because I think it's the Indian soldiers that crossed the Chinese. As in the fight was
Okay.
in the
Okay.
Chinese side, right? So so
Mm.
so so if the fight was at the Indian side, it would have been like a China's problem. But because they're fighting on China's
On the
side,
other
China
side.
always claim like
Okay.
yeah. So there are rules like that, and as for Ethiopia, they did nothing wrong. It's the Sudanese
Yeah.
who came to their
Yeah.
side, and yeah, the government cannot control every
If
militia like in the country. So
yeah. Yeah, if someone is just getting their report and news from the mainstream media, you would think like Ethiopia is the devil. Like,
sent like you think Ethiopia sent drones and
yeah,
like
and attack.
in Khartoum started shooting the capital of Sudan, started shooting
Yeah,
like those soldiers individually.
yeah,
Then like writes a note, we did it. Then
yeah,
like how they were describing it, it's like, oh,
yeah.
Ethiopia killed Sudanese soldiers.
Yes,
No. Those
yes,
guys crossed the border. They
yeah,
met the militia. The militia was not happy.
yeah,
Hey, what are you doing like in Orleans? They had a
yeah.
skirmish. Sudan lost that skirmish, and yeah, it was done on purpose because this week Ethiopia is making the third filling of the Grand Renaissance Dam, right? And this means the dam would be almost fully operational, right? Because the third filling is like the most important, and it will fill the most amount of water. So to cause problems for Ethiopia, I think Egypt coaxed Sudan to go and cause problems to see if they can delay that or anything, but like it didn't work. The dam filling is on
It's
schedule,
gonna
and
happen.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's gonna happen, but it's really, really sad. Like it's sad how it only takes one leader or like one government to change this, like the circumstance for the better or like to make it worse, right? Because I feel like the Sudanese people feel cheated because they fought to remove
But
al-Bashir,
yeah,
right? They
the
fought
guy
so
who
hard.
and the guy who replaced him was his lieutenant, right? So
And then now they're claiming that they're slowly bringing back
the guys,
previous, yes, the guys back in power, just they're pretending like they're new, but like no, it's the old regime coming back, and they're just not accepting it. And I love that about them, because even with this Ethiopia and Sudan situation and the West or like the mainstream media portraying it the wrong way, the people, you can see that people are debunking that by just protesting their own junta. Like they're just removing whatever was put out there, and it's like, okay, your people don't even want you there, so just who are you, just go
uh,
away.
definitely. Yeah, so for me to every Ethiopia and every African, feeling of the Grand Renaissance Dam is a win for every African, and it goes to
Yes.
show that we don't need the West control our destiny, right? So, like you can imagine, if DR Congo takes the approach of Ethiopia, if Uganda takes the approach of Ethiopia, all African countries take the approach of Ethiopia. Yeah, that just means the fall of Europe and the West. Because where will they get all their raw cheap materials, right? Where will they get all their food and everything? So yeah. And now they're definitely not getting it from Russia and Ukraine. So yeah, so like it's just now Africa. Yeah.
Yep. I hope that we see our worth and we start acting accordingly.
So now next, maybe you can fill people in with what happened this week, the Morocco border massacre.
Well, it was the African immigrants from Niger. Which other countries were there? Niger,
Burkina Faso,
DRC.
DRC, and I think Gabon, just West Africa, and also like how when it comes to Ukrainians they are refugees, but when it comes to Africans they are migrant. So those guys were refugees.
Yeah.
Refugees, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they were trying to cross the border between Spain and Morocco, and a place called Melilla, right? That's how you pronounce it.
Like a colony.
Yeah.
Till today, like for those of you who don't know, still today, Spain has a part of Africa that they
in
call
Africa.
like Africa, in the continental Africa, that they call like a enclave, like they use fancy words, enclave, right? But it's just a colony, like they never let it go. Just a colony of Spain that's in Africa. So most young Africans use that loophole because once you are there, you're in Europe. They use that loophole to cross to Europe, and that's where this tragedy happened.
Yeah, they tried to cross it by force, and there were many of them. There's actually a video footage of it. Some of it was captured. They were trying to rush and try to cross, and then the Spanish authorities, backed with Moroccan forces. Morocco, don't forget, is an African country, Northern Africa, right? So they were helped by them. Basically, most of them beat to death, and you can see them laying there. When I last saw it, it was about 37. Probably definitely went up by now.
Yeah, people are saying it's even more than 100. It's just that
because even from the clip, from the clip, you can tell there were a lot of people laying on the ground. So in that back and forth, they use rocks. Some of the witnesses said they were throwing rocks at the immigrants, or let's call them refugees. They attacked them basically, and a lot of them lost their lives. Some of them that crossed were the witnesses that were telling their stories, and they said they've never seen that kind of animosity or force, because this is like a known fact where immigrants use that. It's a normal thing, any other day.
And like now, let me tell you the history of that. Spain, Morocco had a disagreement with Spain over Western Sahara, right? Western Sahara is a country that, it's a 55th African country that Morocco used to be part of Morocco, but now they've claimed the independence, right? So Spain started supporting people from Western Sahara, and Spain, to revenge, Morocco said will not look after that border. So a lot of those refugees started filling in Melia. So they had backdoor meetings and agreements, and came to an agreement, and now they're okay. So now Morocco is like, okay, we'll continue taking care of our border since you are supporting that Western Sahara still belongs to Morocco. And now this is now the new partnership that they formed to crush Africans. So and then one thing, if you want to know somebody is really evil, is that when you've got an AK-47 and tanks, and you go like, oh yeah, they were attacking us with stones and sticks, and you feel it justified to kill more than 100 people because they had stones, right? It's like how much of babies are those guys? They had the full riot gear. So like, what would a stone do when you've got your own weapons, riot trucks, the water guns, and like, it just goes to show this was for me, according to my own opinion, it was like an orchestrated thing, right? They wanted to cause as much death and as much damage as possible as a
To send a
deterrent.
message.
Yeah, like to send a message that now then things are back to, like, we're back to normal. Morocco will help Spain crush anybody who wants to cross that border, and it goes to show you, like, after the incident, what the Prime Minister of Spain said. It was like, oh yeah, it's an attack on our Spanish sovereignty. That's all he had to say, right? He wasn't like, oh, sorry for the death, meaning that was the goal, right? Just get rid of anybody who's trying to cross this border anyway, how, right? And in other ways, Spain has been taking Ukrainian refugees, getting funding from the EU, like being like, oh, we are such a open country, we are helping the refugees fleeing war, right? Like what about those African refugees like fleeing war? You don't know they're fleeing about. That's why the refugee is the refugee status is a well set standard, right? Yeah, like we're in Kenya. Kenya, I think the second, or I think the first country with the most refugees, right, in the world, right, for host the most refugees in the world. There's rules and there's regulations to these things. First, you accept everybody, right? You don't go like, you will crush you, you will shoot you, you will throw you out immediately. No, you accept everybody. Then after that, now you're like, okay, why are you here? A person is like, oh, I'm here because of religious persecution. You file you file your register, like your refugee status. You're given a card, and there's your case. It's either if you can't prove your case that you're here because of what you're claiming, you're returned back to your country, like you're deported back, right? If you can prove, you're given a host country, or you stay. The rule is that you're supposed to stay in your host country, right? The country that you first landed on, right? That's why also the Rwanda and UK thing still, it's as embarrassing to me as somebody who used to be a fan of Kagame, right? Yeah, because if a refugee reaches the UK, it's international law that those refugees should be hosted in the UK, right? Not to pay another country some back cash so that they can take your region. And not all refugees are just picking and choosing, just the Africans, the rejected refugees, right? Yeah. So what Spain should have done, what Spain is supposed to do under international law, is take everybody. I think there were 3,000. Take 3,000 people, put them in a place like holding cells, right? Because they're inside the country illegally, right? Put them in holding cells, give them papers. Everybody has a case. Put case agents to these guys. If this guy is like an economic refugee, that doesn't qualify under international law. You cannot say you're escaping your country because life is hard there and you can't find a job. Like, that's not an excuse to leave your country, right? If you are being persecuted religiously, if it's based on your sexual orientation, there are some countries where just being gay is like a death sentence, right? If you're escaping that, that's okay, right? If you're escaping political persecutions, that's okay. If it's what else? Like even domestic abuse, like sometimes it applies. Like, you can escape a country because like a spouse is threatening your life directly. Like, that applies, right? But
that I didn't know.
Yeah, but the rule is you accept everybody. Everybody has a fair chance. You go to a case officer, they hear your case, they do some investigation back home. They're like, this guy, his shop is even still closed here, right? Definitely that's not a refugee, right? It's just somebody who's looking for greener pastures. But the rule is that you don't make that decision without investigation, without judging somebody's situation. You don't know why somebody's running from a country, right? Yeah, but because it's Africans, right? So today I think the theme of the show will be double standards, Western double standards, right? if
Yeah.
if a European is coming to Africa, any African country, for to look for economic uplifting, to find jobs, they call him expatriate. You know, like
Yeah.
like expatriate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
it's an African doing the same, he's an immigrant, right? like like they're both doing the exact same thing. This one is like an expatriate, you know, like an like they even have their own communities where they do their own things together, right? Yeah, but on the other on the other side, yeah, just because it's an African going to Europe, oh, like it's an immigrant, or like he should, why is he here? Pay Rwanda some little money, like is it like £2? They'll take him. They're hungry for money. They'll take him. They'll take this problem out of our country. Or just like Spain, just kill them at the border. Save the money. So this is the double standards that we're talking about when it comes to this world that we live in. Yeah.
Do you think though they will be held accountable?
Yeah. No, not at all, not at all. First of all, I'm sure a lot of evidence is being hidden. I will only be surprised if more than 200 people died. Like for me, my estimates, and based on the emails I've gotten and tips, people are saying the actual count is 300 people who died. Yeah, but that's like what it's not confirmed, right? Yeah, but so because both sides, the people who are supposed to investigate each other are like on the same bed, right? They're like they can hide each other's like crimes. So and the rights groups that were there, some are not even allowed to investigate, right? Like even those cameras, like those videos that leaked, like came out. It's those 8 groups that leaked them, because like if you submit this to the authorities, like nobody would have known. Like the news would just been there was like an accident, because the way they were saying, there was a stampede at the border and Africans, 23 Africans died. You know, that was the news that they fed everybody, right? Like an accident.
True.
No. Like this was no accident, and more
It's
than
deliberate.
23 Africans have died, and nothing will happen to Morocco. Nothing will happen to Spain, like regardless of all the calls of investigations and everything, right? Meaning, because to them African lives are not valuable, right? And Morocco, for me, I think it should be like, it's such a shame, because Morocco was just returned to the African Union, right? And if I had any authority over there, they would have just rightly kicked them out again. You know, because not even just because of the migrant issue, because of the Western Sahara issue, right? You know, like for those of you who don't know, Morocco left the African Union because they boycotted when the African Union supported Western Sahara's sovereignty, right? You know, so according to the African Union, Western Sahara is a country. Morocco refused it. They were like, oh, yeah, maybe we're going to leave this group. Yeah, because nobody was listening to them. Nobody cared. And it's them who reapplied back. You know, people are like, like, you know, like, yeah, like everybody has their own problems. So for me, I would think Morocco should face consequences from Africa, right? Europe, they don't care about African lives. So for that, I really don't care what those guys are doing. But Africa should punish Morocco for what they did, because they're aiding and abetting murderers, right? Even if you say it's not them who killed those refugees, they aided and abetted, right? They allowed the refugees to die. Yeah, so they're still as guilty as Spain.
Yeah, it's really sad. It really is sad that they had to lose their lives like that, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And regardless of, and there's some people who are like saying, oh, these guys are just running away looking for better opportunities. Never judge anybody's situation, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know why somebody risks their lives to cross a border, to pay your last money to a smuggler, to go to go to Europe to look for better choices, right? Like you never judge anybody, right? And also, as always, African countries, it's responsible. Like, why are your youths dying to go to like to another country? Why are they dying to go to come to Kenya, to come to Rwanda, to come to I mentioned Rwanda because now they've got all the UK money that they got paid for, for all the jobs, right? Like why, and they, because they did the African continental free trade, and the thing was to increase more jobs, to open up Africa. Why are they still going to Europe and not going to other African countries, right? Yeah. So yeah. So like when it comes to this story, like it always irritates me because you'd get nothing from Western media. They'll just do 3 or 4 news posts, and that will be the end of it, right? The people in power will also do nothing, right? They'll just be like, oh, make statements or investigations. The right groups have no power. They're just some guy who bought a .org domain that has employees that are volunteers. They don't even get salaries, right? So how can you expect a small NGO like that to even do anything, right? And the perpetrators are not even remorseful. So this situation is where it's called like a lose-lose, right? For because there's no solution, there's no smart thing I can say about it that, oh, they should do this, or snacky comment, like, it's just sad from beginning till end.
Yeah.
So or maybe you like you have a solution for us. Well, like, what do you think should be the next step for this? Stop these guys coming off from their own countries, or because now where they're going is just like a death sentence. So
Yeah. It's investing in the youth, I think. Like the focus should be in the youth, because one, they're the next generation that will take over power, that will take over these key positions. They are the future. And if anything, they are our precious resources that we have, that we can tap to, that we can, they're like seeds where you put everything you can for them, like the soil, the sun, the water, everything that they need. And then when they blossom, they actually are the change that we will need, right? 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. So I know it's easier said than done, but governments need to really, really look into the mirror and really revise their budgets and where they're going. And I think it's like, how many, like, look at it simply as this: how many fields or like areas that are just for the youth are there in a community or like in a city? Like, we don't even think about that. We think about road infrastructure, we think about like office spaces, or we never think about, okay, how do we make sure the youth is busy, at least playing, if not going and like taking drugs to numb the pain, or going out and trying to leave the country? How are they occupying themselves? Like, our youth are bright. Look at Nigeria, the Yahoo boys, whatever you call them, like, and they have to be smart for them to hack into your account, hack into huge corporations or government accounts to steal money. Imagine using that brain for our advantage, for our benefit. It's not like we don't have skills, we don't have the potential, but like, how do we tap into that? Now Nigeria, I feel like, has a huge chance to invest in their youth. Oh, she's so cute. I saw your cat. Sorry, she is so cute. I'm sorry. You can't put a cat in front of me and expect me not to react. She just went up.
I've been trying to push it down, but it's just working.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm glad. Like, after I saw that, I feel better. But like, all I'm trying to say is, I think we need to redirect our energy to the youth. I think the benefit is gonna outweigh any kind of money we will pour into it, right? So obviously, this is the first thing that come to my mind, but I'm sure there's so many things that can be done. But I think even what we are doing is important. You just the more you know, the more maybe that will discourage you, right? Like maybe when I was younger, I was like, okay, I want to go to the US and hustle. Now I'm like, for what? Why would I go? The more you know, the more you're like, it's not for me. I'd rather, right? So education, like educating our people, like it's not all that. Like risk your life for what? If you're not alive, none of it will matter anyways.
Yes.
So showing them that it's not as green as you might think. Also showing them ways, like I know you, like you're doing a podcast, or you did a podcast, how you can have a YouTube channel and make your own money, right? Like now there are so many ways you can work from home, or you can work where you're at, like, right? Like this technology, social media is exposing us.
Like I said, the internet is equalizer, right?
Yes, exactly.
There's nothing a boy in Nigeria has that like if they're smart enough, they can make anything they want. They can create their own business online, and And
well, what's to say the next Silicon Valley will not be in Nigeria? Like I'm saying Nigeria because most of the time we all know the stories come out of Nigeria. I'm sure there are other parts of the country, but when it comes to techie stuff, they're like they're on top of it. But that's one example though, right? Every country, every African country has their own strong point, right? Or where you can see what you're good at. It can be um, um, passed down from your ancestors. Like I love Maasai beads and Maasai, right? Like those are the things that, what are you good at? How can we monetize that? Let's talk about that. I know we can't just keep telling them it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You have to also figure out a way, or like show them the way how it can be done. So many people are doing it now, so many people. So my advice would be like, focus should be on the youth and how can we use them instead of losing them.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah.
So this story is extremely sad, and
Very.
we'll follow it up till the end, till it goes cold, and I will keep informing you guys.
Yeah.
So to end, I've got one more story. Like there's something you've done that has reminded me, right?
Okay.
So this week, there's a company called Kune in Kenya that went bankrupt.
Okay.
And like it was a startup, right? And the story behind it is there's this French guy who came to Kenya and wanted to buy street food, and
wanted
to buy street food. No, sorry, he wanted to buy food. So he was like, oh, the food in the hotel is expensive, and the street food he doesn't like, right? So he was like, I've gotten this great idea of Kune, like affordable food that you can order, right? And he got his friends, he got local banks, he got international angel funding to create this company called Kune, and he raised more than $1 million to start the company. Hired a bunch of people in Kenya. Like I think he had almost 20 staff, right? Started still getting more money, saying, "Oh, I've come to change Africa's street food revolution," right? So the company went down because nobody used the app, right? Like nobody bought anything from Kune, right? Because the guy didn't do market research and he didn't know how Africans buy food, how you cannot compete with the mama mboga. So for those who are watching from abroad, mama mboga is the street vendor on the side. So he was trying to replace that, and he convinced people both internationally and locally to invest in his fund. The company went bankrupt, and I'm sure he's left the country with his good salary that he got from that, because like these guys pay themselves, and they've got shares of the company. So even if the company goes down and all the employees get fired, the founders always end up with something. So there's a lot of debate in LinkedIn. This is more of a LinkedIn kind of conversation on the startup industry in Kenya, how to have a successful startup in Kenya, especially in Kenya and in Nigeria. You need to have a white founder, or you'll not get You need to avoid,
Really?
or you'll not get a cent of funding internationally and locally, right? And we even did a documentary, like I think 3 years back or 2 years back, where there's a Kenyan entrepreneur who got kicked out from his company because like he brought in like I think 2 white people, and eventually they kicked him out with 0 shares, right? So yes, it's a known thing in the Kenya tech industry, in the sorry, not Kenyan, in the African tech industry, for you to create a startup, for you to get money from these guys like for TechCrunch, like these guys like for Combiner, these guys like from like this, they're called angel investors, right? Yeah, like bank, like these big institutions that fund things like Uber. So when those companies I've mentioned, those are the companies that give money to Uber, to Airbnb, to which other, this DoorDash, to Glovo, right? Like you know, these apps that you use, right?
Yeah.
They had to get money somewhere, right? So it's like those ones are now called angel investors, right? So in Kenya, like let's say we're creating a company, like an African company called Little Kitten, right? Yeah. So let's say we are creating a company for kittens, right? If it's just me and you, even if we have the perfect business plan, even if we've got like sales, we've sold like 2,000 of these kittens, right? Yeah. So nobody internationally, nobody, even local banks will not get it. But if we add Mr. Smith as a co-partner, the money starts flooding. So
Wow.
these guys have noticed that an easy way to make money in Africa, go there creating a startup, like the some of the Jumia guys did, right? Because Jumia is like a German company. They just came to Africa and started doing here. Uh, uh, like have a founder who's white, make him be the face of the company, and you'll get all the money. So that's the current situation in the startup industry in most of Africa. Like when I know most of Africa is the startup industry and fintech industry, and the tech industry is really very lucrative in Kenya, Rwanda, and Nigeria, right? So the same thing happens. Like Nigerians are a bit more prideful, and they tend to do things like their way. They rarely have. But Kenyans always give in and do this for most Kenyan startups, right? Like things like this one for the ride, Sandy. Have you ever heard of Sandy? The ones for the bike, like it's like a Uber for bikes, right? Things like things like that. All those have got like white founders, and the only reason those companies got funded is because of the white founders, right? There are very few local startups that they've been founded, or like given money, especially this international angel
Yeah,
funders.
that's not right though. That needs to be called out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really not right.
So we've done one documentary on this, but I think we'll go in depth with this. We'll use this
Yeah,
Kune.
do that. Do that.
And funny thing about the word Kune, like it means nothing. I don't think like that guy just thought, hey, let's have an African sounding name, right? Like that guy knew nothing about Africa. He didn't do this French guy. He didn't do any research, caused heartache because you can't just get this job, you're supporting your family, then all of a sudden you're fired because
Yeah.
the person who started the company was just using it either to channel money, or he didn't have a clue about the market that is starting. So
Yeah.
either way, whatever that guy did was wrong and harmful to the local people, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we always say support black owned businesses, support
Yes.
local brother and sister, like when it comes to these things. Just don't start
Yeah.
using companies not knowing where they like their history, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's just like by the way of something that you should go to, like if you want to get the real story of this thing, go to LinkedIn. Stuff like this does not like when it comes to startup stuff, tech stuff, they really don't do so much well in Twitter and Facebooks and the social media. But in LinkedIn, that's where people talk in depthly and give really good points on how this industry is being people are saying it's just being colonized, right? The startup industry in Kenya, because they call Kenya the Silicon Savannah. Like how there's a Silicon Valley in the United States. Kenya is
Yeah.
usually on Savannah, because that's where there's so many startups
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So
And I think even internet-wise, I think you guys are #1 in Africa, if I'm not wrong. Like how fast it is. Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, so much of these things go back. There's this trend that I've mentioned that people have noticed. For you to be successful, it's either you have a white founder or the company is just white to begin with. You know, because those ones
That
know how.
really sucks.
Yeah, those ones
But
have not
yeah.
all the money.
Yeah, that really sucks. It
Yeah, so
needs to change.
yes, yeah, I know. First, we need to let people know what's going on, right? And we see how we can shame them to changing, you know, right?
Yeah. If you make enough noise, anything is possible.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So with that, I think that the
Yeah.
story of the week. Sorry, guys, you couldn't get into the conversation. There's something
Yeah, the
wrong.
comment section acted up.
Yeah. There's something wrong with the StreamYard chat. We'll try to find out what went wrong. But like the chat section has been lively. It's just that I can't go to another tab and do the comments and still participate in the conversation. Yeah. So with that said, I hope all of you guys here have all gone to Wangel's channel and subscribed. Like a check, right? You know, like I'm seeing your usernames. I'll go and check. And with that said, thank you for watching. We always appreciate you guys staying with us 1 or more hours just to listen to us talk and share our opinions about Africa. That always amazes me to the support and also thank you to my party
Cat.
crush.
She's so cute though.
Yeah. There's nothing I can do. Like even if I
It's
put her
okay. Leave her alone. Leave her alone.
yeah. She just come back up. Yeah. So thank you so much. Wish you guys a happy weekend. Wongel, do you have anything to tell
Yes.
people?
We'll see you next week. Hopefully this chat thing can be fixed so we can have
Like
a conversation with you, because it's always enjoyable to have the dialogue open with you guys.
definitely.
So yeah, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye bye.
Stay blessed. Bye.
And remember, Africa is watching.
Yes, and the kitten is watching.
Yes.